Joined now by attorney Chris Davis. Mr. Davis, give me one of the biggest mistakes that people make after an accident or a windstorm and they have to file an insurance claim.
The biggest mistake that I see probably is the failure to preserve evidence or documenting the claim or the injury or the harm that's been done. That might include taking photographs, calling the police, obtaining witness statements, all the information in the beginning so that you can prove the claim down the road.
Now, you start with the premise that consumers should not think of their insurance adjuster as having their best interest in mind. And yet, Mr. Newman, we just heard Mr. Newman say that insurance companies do settle claims quickly, that people are generally satisfied.
I would say this, the insurance industry is in it to make a profit. Adjusters are trained to save the company money by settling claims for less than what perhaps they may be worth. So right off the bat, there's an adversarial relationship. Yes, many claims are settled promptly. The question, though, is whether those claims or whether those settlements are actually fair. I'm simply advising people to at least consult with a lawyer or find out what your rights are in the beginning of the claim process, because that's going to help individuals down the road.
I think a lot of people are apprehensive about bringing in a lawyer right away. I mean, isn't that setting up an adversarial relationship just by me going out and hiring a lawyer for a claim?
Well, people have to understand that the insurance industry right off the bat is doing what they need to do to minimize the claim and perhaps pay out less than what may be reasonable. I'm not urging people to hire counsel immediately. I'm simply saying, it may be in your best interest just to consult with a lawyer or at least do some research on your own to find out what your rights are, what the insurance company's obligations are, so that if you do decide to go it alone, you'll have as much information as possible to make the best decision.
And very quickly, do you think most people have the wherewithal to go it alone with an insurance company?
If we're talking about the typical individual, absolutely not. I mean, we're talking about insurance companies that have hundreds of millions, perhaps billions of dollars. The leverage is usually almost always on the side of the insurance company.
Attorney Chris Davis.
So in Chapter 2, it's called You've Entered into a War Zone. That sounds kind of scary and intimidating. What do you mean by that?
I use that title to grab the reader's attention, but my message is this, that most people who are in the claims process really don't realize how adversarial the process is until it's probably too late. And by that I mean the insurance company, their job is to gather information, investigate the claim, but their job is also to gather in the information that protects the company or helps the company rather than the person making the claim. So they will be looking for signs, information that will help them either defeat the claim entirely or minimize the value of the claim.
So when do you need to hire an attorney in an accident case?
Penny, most cases probably do not need an attorney. And for those cases are usually small cases that resolve within a few months or so. When somebody, though, finds themselves, out of work for a period of time, the medical bills are more than just a few $1,000s, and the injuries may be permanent or long-lasting, then the claim conceivably might have a higher value, and when there's more money at stake, then it's probably a good idea to at least consult with a lawyer to learn about your rights.
Is there a way to determine the value of your case?
There is no mathematical formula that exists to calculate the value of any claim. It really depends on a number of factors particular to that individual claim. And so when people consult with us or we represent clients, there's probably at least a dozen to 24 factors that we look at, which we either try to enhance or communicate to the insurance company or gather evidence to support those factors, where we then come up with a reasonable range of value based on either my experience, based on similar types of cases or publishable verdict reports in the past, and then we go from there.
So, Chris, do you have a limited amount of time in which you can file a claim?
Well, legally, they call this the statute of limitations, and in Washington, that is 3 years from the date of the accident, typically. But I tell people that they should not wait 3 years to resolve the claim, or should not wait 3 years to hire a lawyer if they think that they need one, because the process is very predicated on gathering information quickly, important information quickly, that may turn out to be very important later on down the road.
There's a lot of information in this book, so I'm sure